Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar regarding AVIOTEC for food and beverage industries. We are really excited to have you here with us today. So good afternoon for those who are joining us from Asia. Good morning for those who are joining us from Europe and any other part of the world. We hope that this information that we're about to share with you today, it's useful for you and you find it as interesting as we do. We're just gonna wait some more minutes before starting, and I'm gonna start sharing my my screen. Again, thank you very much for joining us on this webinar. We will be talking about our technology for fire detection, very fast and reliable fire detection for indoor and semi-protected outdoor spaces. My name is Valeria Meneses. I'm an inside sales representative for this technology, and I'm very happy to be here with you today, sharing this information that I have regarding AVIOTEC. First, I want to share some important considerations regarding this webinar. Firstly, this webinar is being recorded so that therefore afterwards we can share this information with you. So please consider that. You can send your questions during the presentation at any moment using the Q&A section, so please do. If you have any doubt, please just write it down and we will make sure to answer it for you at the end of the presentation. Okay, if we don't have enough time for that, we will make sure to contact you afterwards and follow up on that issue. And I think we are ready to start. Okay, so as you know, we are going to talk today about AVIOTEC, fire detection system for food and beverage processing plants. Before actually going into the topic of what the product is and what it can do, I always like to take a step back and explain why Bosch decided to undertake the development of this product. And the first thing that we did was to go with the safety managers and try to understand the key goals that they have. And to no surprise, the most important thing is to ensure safety. We want to keep staff safe. We and the safety managers, of course. We want to give people enough time to evacuate a building in case there is a fire. And really, this is the motivation behind the business unit at Fire in Bosch. We want to save lives. However, of course, we understand we are talking about a business and we need to guarantee business continuity. And in order to do that, we need to guarantee also that both buildings and machinery are also kept safe in case there is a fire. So we need also to keep both of these safe in case there is some damage being done in any part of our facilities. And also, we want to guarantee business continuity in another fashion. We need to guarantee that there are no production stops caused by false alarms, for example, but also by machinery that has been damaged in one of the fires, etc. We need to minimize risks. And in order to minimize risks, of course, we first need to understand what are these risks. And lastly, of course, we need to comply with policies. This is, of course, the company's policies, but also the local legislation. We are talking about the people within the company, but also any third party that is participating in our company's activity. So the current situation is like this. We need fire detection systems in facilities, in industrial facilities. This is a reality. And the thing is that we actually have several options, several traditional fire detection systems that we can choose from. Actually, Bosch has quite a robust portfolio in that regard. What happens? We have certain challenges that require a specific solution. We are talking about a high fire load, for example, the use and storage of highly flammable products that, of course, can ignite and start a fire at any moment. But not only that, the process on itself can also, because of the high temperatures at which it is operating, can also ignite a fire at any moment. And the situation is that we know traditional fire detection systems simply take too long to identify a fire. These systems are usually installed in the ceiling, and we need to wait for the smoke to travel all the way to the ceiling in order to be identified and therefore to activate the alarm in this case. We are talking about minutes, and of course, in the case of an emergency, this is too long of a period of time that we cannot afford to waste in order to react fastly, to avoid damage in our facilities, and more importantly, to save lives in this case. There is another challenge, which is the difficult environment that we are usually dealing with in industrial facilities, which is usually very dusty and very humid. And specifically in food processing plants, we are talking about sugars, we're talking about flours, we're talking about powdering flour flavors that mixed with the vapors of the process on itself are going to cause a lot of problems with the traditional fire detection systems. It's going to cause that we need a lot of maintenance efforts to clean and to keep these systems operating. And the thing is that more often than not, we end up delegating this activity. Why? Because it's costly. Why? Because we usually need to stop our regular operation. And of course, we do not want to do that. What I usually say is that we are just exchanging one problem for another, and we do not want to do that. We want to really have a solution that does not become another problem for us. Okay, so also these difficult environments is going to cause the maintenance effort and additional resources that need to be assigned. And not only that, these systems end up being not reliable, and maybe they're not going to work when we need them to work. And lastly, we're talking about the storage of the products. Okay, we're talking about maybe inside areas, maybe semi-open area, maybe where we keep dry goods, for example, where we keep animal feed. Usually we're talking about grains or hay. We're talking about highly flammable goods that of course can start a fire, and not only that, it can spread really, really fast, not only consuming the goods that we have in that area, but also maybe affecting the buildings that we have nearby. So here is where we are proposing AVIOTEC as a solution when you cannot rely on a traditional fire detection system, and also to enhance safety in order to protect our investment and in order to save lives. So let's dive into some use cases. Regarding the production, we are talking about the challenge, we have said it before, of handling food at very high temperatures. In this case, we're talking about the food conveyors that in case there is a fire, of course, it's going to spread really fast because of the operation on itself. What we want is to detect the fire as quickly as possible so that we can stop it immediately and prevent it from spreading and from causing more damage than it should. And here is the great advantage that AVIOTEC offers. AVIOTEC can identify both flames and smoke within seconds. Why? Because the detection is done directly at the source. For example, in this case, it could be at the machine. And not only that, there are specific high risk areas that can be focused on for increased safety. So this really gives us the time advantage that we need in case of an emergency in order to act quickly, in order to activate our safety protocol so that we can have enough time to stop the fire in time and to avoid the fire from spreading and from consuming our investment in this case. There is another situation also in the production stage, which is, of course, we have talked about the amount of dust, the huge amount of sugar, flour that will certainly cause working problems for regular fire detectors. There is this need for maintenance that fire detection solutions is going to ask for in this case. Here we have a good advantage also with AVIOTEC that since it is a camera, we can install it within a housing, and inside this housing, we won't have any kind of issue regarding maintenance. And this, I think, it's kind of a gift. How often do you hear any kind of product in the industry that you won't need to do any maintenance effort on it? I think not that often. So this is the situation with AVIOTEC. Installed in a housing, you barely will need any kind of maintenance effort. Maybe once in a while you will need to clean it, wipe it with a cloth, just to make sure you have full visibility. So you need to guarantee that the lens doesn't have any dust on it. But due to the technology that the lens has, it's going to repel the dust on itself. Another situation that we have also in the production stage is, of course, we need to remember we're handling food. So we need to ensure that it is handled in the most efficient way. At the end of the day, we are talking about woods and need to guarantee that we have the most amount of products that are ready to go to the market. So we need to keep interruptions and false alarms to a minimum so that we can really take the most of our daily production. And this can be done with AVIOTEC. Why? Because AVIOTEC uses AI technology to minimize these false alarms by reliably differentiating between disturbances and real fires. This is very, very crucial because, as we know, there are already a lot of disturbances, a lot of issues that cause a lot of waste, a lot of material being having to go to waste, not ready to go to the production or to the final stage, ready to go to the market, and this is crucial for us to have a success rate in the production stage. Regarding the storage, we have here also an important challenge, which is the packaging materials. We all know all of the foods come in highly flammable materials. We are talking about paper, plastics, films, all of which are, of course, highly combustible. And we need to protect also these materials from igniting and starting a fire. And also the thing is that smoke contaminates food storage areas, which leads to costly damage and waste. Once a fire starts in one of these areas, is prone, of course, to contaminate all of the existing products or goods that in the same storage area. And we need also to protect that from at all costs. Again, the greatest advantage that AVIOTEC offers is this capability to identify flames and smoke within seconds. This is going to give us the time advantage to prevent widespread damage, not only to protect, of course, the facilities, but also so that we can protect our products. We are not going to be having problems in the deliveries with our customers. All of these are things that we need to consider when we are just analyzing these kind of solutions. We have been talking a lot about food processing plants, but in reality, AVIOTEC is also an ideal solution for the beverage industry as well. We have pure ethanol stored in massive tanks in breweries, for example, to produce grain-based beer. And as we know, these are all highly flammable substances. These also can ignite at any moment. So here again, once again, the factor of the time, the possibility to be able to detect the fire instantly, it's just the most important one. Again, we do not want to wait for the smoke to need to travel all the way to the ceiling in order to be detected by the traditional fire detection systems, because in this case, there would have been already minutes gone by. Okay, and as we know, in this kind of plants, the ceilings are already very, very high in this case. And also there is another challenge, which is the ceilings getting very hot and in some cases not allowing the smoke to really reach the ceiling and just going to the sides. And this is another problem for this kind of traditional fire detection system. So once again, here is another important consideration when we are talking about AVIOTEC and how it can really enhance the safety in these kind of plants. Lastly, this is a very important use case, which is the reliable fire detection in outdoor or semi-open spaces. This is very common in the industry. We're talking about storage areas where we usually have just a ceiling where we can protect this kind of material, which is highly flammable, usually is weather resistant and other hazardous material that can ignite. And as we know, it can spread really, really fast, not only because it can damage the adjoining buildings, but also because of the chimney effect that can make it spread really quickly. And in this case, of course, we have to consider the importance of really fast fire detection that we can only have with the technology of video within AVIOTEC. But also, I always like to highlight here another important feature of AVIOTEC, which is the fact that since it is a surveillance camera, as any other video camera from Bosch, it has the quality of the intelligent video algorithms. This means that we have the possibility to use and to restrain certain behaviors in these kind of spaces. We are going to be able to monitor certain behaviors that we want to restrain. We are going to be able to better surveil these spaces, to watch for arsonists, to watch for intruders. And really, it's a huge amount of algorithms that are running parallel to the fire detection, and that really is going to enhance the safety for our facilities. This is AVIOTEC. This is the camera that we have been talking about. And just to sum up what we have been discussing so far, why it is a good solution for the food processing plants. It is a early fire and smoke detection systems. And when I say early, I mean extremely fast. I mean, in a matter of seconds, we're going to be able to have a reliable alarm. It works in harsh environments, whether it's dust or humidity or condensation. We are going to be able to have a working system that requires a minimum amount of maintenance effort, therefore a minimum amount of resources allocated to this effort. And all of this is very, very important where we are analyzing and considering the total cost of ownership of a fire detection system. And also very crucial is the AI technology that it's going to allow us, of course, the very fast and reliable detection, but also that it's going to keep false alarms to a minimum and therefore business interruptions to a minimum as well. We are very confident in this product because we have seen it successfully implemented in several industries across the globe, which I found it very interesting because it only reinforces the idea and the need of this kind of solution for the industry in general. This is something that we keep on seeing. Now let's dive in on how it works. AVIOTEC is a visual analyzation tool. What this means is that it doesn't need any kind of additional object, additional element. It doesn't need a software license, a server. It's the camera on itself that's going to perform the analysis of the fire event on the scene. Okay, so this is thanks to the algorithms that are integrated into the camera that are going to be able to perform this analysis on real time. And then we have the possibility of, we have two possibilities. The first one is to connect this, to treat this as a regular fire detection system, connect it to the fire alarm panel, and just, of course, configure it so that we can have a sound alarm, a visual alarm, so that we can get a notification on our mobile phone to have a visual of what the camera is seeing at the moment of the alarm, so that we can evaluate the incident. But really, what we recommend, since it is a camera, that we make the most of it as a camera. So there is a possibility of connecting it to a video management system. Of course, we always recommend using the Bosch video management system. However, it is possible to connect it to other video management systems. We have almost full integration with the most important brands. And with this possibility, we are going to be able to see really what is happening in the scene. We're going to be able to have all of the metadata, all of the information, and we know that with more information, we're able to take better decisions, right? So with this information, even if it's necessary to call the fire brigade, for example, not that we are expecting to reach that point, but if it reached that point, we are able to call them beforehand and give them the information so that when they walk in, they are already aware of what they're walking into. But not only that, this information is also really important for the insurance companies, for example. They are really interested in having this kind of footage so that they can perform their root cause analysis and to really be able to understand what happened, what caused the fire in the first place. And also very important for the company in itself is how we can prevent it from happening again, which at the end of the day is also something that we really want to achieve. Of course, if we connect it to a video management system, we're also able to get everything that we get through a fire alarm panel. We are able to get all of the notifications, all of the alarms, so that we can really react immediately, and we can really activate our safety protocol as soon as we get a notification of an incident, therefore minimizing the damage of any kind of fire in our facilities. So we have talked about the camera being operated by the algorithms within it. I find it fascinating because so that we can understand it a bit, the camera has 20,000 algorithms operating every 0.02 seconds. So this is ongoing at any moment, and just so that we can understand the capability of this product. However, this is 20 algorithms operating parallel. However, we're going to dive into two physical algorithms that are the physical flame model, which are the ones that really help understand and help identify, in this case, the flame when it is in the field of view of the camera. And for that to happen, the camera is going to identify and verify that these three things are present in the field of view. We are talking about the flame core and the overall shape of the flame. This is very important, of course, the core of the flame and also how it grows around it. The flickering, which is this very particular movement of fire and that we do not finding it in a lot of other things. And the illuminance rating, which is of course, the variation of color between the intensity in the core and the different colors around it. And only when these three characteristics are met is that AVIOTEC is going to activate the alarm for flame. In a standard setting of the camera, we are going to take approximately 4 seconds in order to identify these elements and 8 additional seconds in order to verify that indeed what we are seeing in the field of view, it is fire. In the case of the smoke, we are going to have similar operation. In this case, AVIOTEC is going to be looking for different characteristics. In this case, it's going to be able to detect the motion of transparent and semi-transparent objects. It's going to be able to detect the movement, which is upwards, but not always. We talked about these phenomena where sometimes the smoke doesn't go to the ceiling because the ceiling is simply too hot. So the smoke starts to move to the sides. So this is also something that happens. And we are going to also be able to distinguish between uprising smoke and other objects that might be moving in the same direction. In this case, the verification time is going to take a little bit longer. Why is that? Simply because, as we know, there might be some more things, let's say, that might look like smoke. For example, we have dust, we have vapor, and the camera needs some extra time to really understand, to really identify the very unique turbulent movement that smoke has. And for that, we are going to take this extra verification time in order to avoid false alarms. So I think it's going to be a little bit easier to understand with some videos. In this case, we are going to see these ones that were taken in our laboratory in Ottobrunn in Germany. We first are going to see the one that produces flame. It is produced by ethanol, so we don't have any kind of smoke. It's purely flame. And it takes a bit to start. Maybe it takes a bit longer than I thought. There you go. Maybe I needed to put it play. Okay, so yeah, we see here the flame. And as soon as we see the pink square appear on the screen, it means that the alarm has been activated. Okay, it means that AVIOTEC has detected the fire in the field of view of the camera and therefore has activated the alarm. In the case of smoke, here we see the same setting. So as you can imagine, the challenge is a bit bigger. We are talking about the space that is not a lot of contrast. We have white tile in the background. However, extremely fast. It just takes a couple of seconds for AVIOTEC to activate the alarm for smoke. In both cases, it is a color mode. The setting is color mode. Why? In this case, because we have also the possibility of using the camera. Camera can also perform on black and white mode. In this case, this is a video taken close to 11 p.m. at night. We see the alarm being activated by flame, also extremely fast. And in this last video, it's really my favorite because in here we can really see how the camera is detecting some movement in the field of view, and therefore it's analyzing what is going on the scene. Okay, this yellow line that we see, this is what it means. And as soon as we see the square, in this case it's yellow, it means that it has recognized, it has acknowledged that indeed what is seeing, what is being captured in the camera, it is a smoke. AVIOTEC has the Starlight technology for illumination, which is really the optimal illumination level for cameras. Just for comparison, we like to show these pictures taken from a smartphone, with actually an iPhone, which is also supposed to be very superior in terms of quality picture quality, and we really see the difference between with the image of two lux with an iPhone and with a frame taken from a video of AVIOTEC. Again, why is this relevant? We want to be able to use this information in some important way, right? Once a fire is started, once an alarm is being detected, how we can take the most advantage of it. Of course, the most important thing is to stop the fire immediately. But afterwards, we want to use this information to avoid it from happening again, to have a good root cause analysis, to use this information to improve our protocols, etc., etc., etc. To sum up a bit, AVIOTEC works basically as a human eye. We as people are always alert of what is going around us. If we see something that's different, that's moving, it caught our attention. And in this case, AVIOTEC is going to do exactly the same. The difference is that it's a machine, so it's going to be operating non-stop. It's going to be doing a smoke density analysis, as well as a turbulence, color, and motion analysis non-stop in order to determine whether what is being detected in the field of view is a fire or it is not a fire. And it is this combination of physical algorithms that we explained before with the artificial intelligence that is going to give the input to the AI alarm decision. And we talked about a minimum illumination level. I talked about it being possible to use in black and white mode. For that, we need a minimum of 2 lux, and it's even possible to use with 0 lux. However, for that, we need infrared lighting additional to the camera. I talk here about minimum illumination level reduced to 2 lux. And this is important because in the beginning, and I say in the beginning because this technology to some might appear new. In reality, this product has already more or less 5-6 years in the market. And the situation is that the product that we have in the market today is much more competent, much more better. It's a better product than, of course, the first generation of AVIOTEC. This is just how technology works. It's been improved time and time again. And the first generation needed 7 lux. It was already quite lower than the average in the market, which is between 20 and 40. But this is really just a reflection of Bosch, not only the dedication, not only to this product, but as a brand in general. Even though we already have an optimal product in the market, we keep dedicated to it. We keep improving it further. And this is seen every year, more or less, we release a new firmware in which we have a better and better qualities of the product. More or less every year we release a new firmware. It is available for all the AVIOTEC users for free. And with this, of course, what we intend is to have a higher detection range, more robustness against false alarms, and just an overall better product for the end user. And this is what we think and we believe that we are really achieving more and more. And lastly, I would like to share one reference, one success case in the food industry with you. This is a case in Italy. It is a Richetti food industry. They produce snacks, frozen snacks. And unfortunately, they had a fire. They had a nasty fire. There are no nice fires. They had a fire in their facilities, in one of their warehouses. And of course, as it usually happens, once you had a situation like this, you are more prone to invest in safety. And of course, what they pretended was to enhance the safety in their installation so that they could avoid from happening and from going through that kind of thing again. And in this case, they were shown AVIOTEC. They were very happy with the possibility that AVIOTEC offer, and really impressed by the by the velocity, by the fast reaction that AVIOTEC, which with AVIOTEC could detect fire, and of course the timely action that they could perform in order to suppress the fire, and of course to minimize the damage once a fire would start in their facility. So now they have two AVIOTECs in the chambers on the line of production, and one camera near the warehouses where they keep the material, the cardboard's material. So this is, I think, one very important example. It can be any kind of industry. It could be any of our companies. We just really taking advantage of the technology that already exists out there to, again, enhance safety and security in our facilities in order to protect our investments and also our people. So this is it for me today. I really hope that you enjoyed this presentation. I will be more than happy to answer any questions. And if you want a demo, we are always available for doing so. You can also contact our local people. Thank you very much. I will take a look at the Q&A. Okay, so here we have a very common question. This is regarding the area that one camera can cover. Uh, this has two possible answers, let's say. The easy answer is that one camera can cover an area up to 60 meters, which we can monitor up or be able to detect a flame that's up to 50 centimeters. However, this is just to give us an idea. Why? Because this is depending on the height of the camera, where it is installed. It's going to depend on the angle in which the camera is positioned, and it's also going to depend on the lens that we have the camera. Of course, the camera comes with a standard lens, but we are able to exchange two different lenses depending on the area where we want to install the camera. This is something that I never get tired of saying, of explaining. This being a specialized product, this is a customizable product, let's say, and it really needs an kind of not exhaustive, but almost just in situ analysis in order to really understand the needs of the facility where it's going to be installed, so that we can really guarantee that we can cover all of the spaces and we can be watching all over the facility. Let's not forget that this is a visual analyzation tool. If the camera cannot see it, then it cannot analyze it, and therefore it cannot activate the alarm. So if we have any kind of visual blocking, then the camera won't be able to detect the fire. So it is also important to consider not only the area, the total area of the space, of the warehouse, of the facility, but also the configuration, the inner layout. If we have any kind of yes, just the layout, where I'm forgetting the word, I'm sorry, but just the layout inside. We need to guarantee that we have enough cameras and that they have full visibility, so that we can ensure that if a fire starts at any place, then it will be activated. The alarm will be activated as soon as it sees the fire, with, as you can see, it will be within seconds. I don't see any other question. Oh, okay. If we want to have a demo in our facilities, yes, it is possible. This is also something that we encourage. Always, it's important for the end user to actually see how the camera works in their facilities, and to evaluate these small considerations regarding the not only where it will be installed, but also it's important the lighting. We need to ensure that the amount of lighting that will be coming in through the windows, it's not going to block the possibility of the camera to detect a fire. So all of these things need to be considered, and this is only possible to doing in situ analysis. Thus, AVIOTEC is possible to install at outside area. It is possible to install AVIOTEC in a semi-open space, like the one that I showed in the presentation, which is a covered space. So just like a space where we keep some woods, but that it has at least a ceiling so that we can really control what the camera is seeing. In the end, this is the important part. We need to control what the background of the camera is so that we do not have external elements that might alter or that might cause any disturbance in the analysis of the camera. We have had someone here is asking regarding the possibility to install it in parking lots, drop-off lobby area. It is possible. We have had some projects inside parking lots. This is an excellent example of a semi-open space because it is, yeah, it is semi-open. It is covered somehow, but it's not completely closed, and we can really control the visualization of the camera. So it is possible. So this is really a possibility. Again, we would have to analyze the scene, the space specifically, because we have a great variety of parking lots. So it will depend on which one we are talking about and which kind of conditions it has. But in general, I would say yes, it is possible. Let's see. What kind of approvals are available for AVIOTEC, if any? I'm guessing this is regarding the certifications. Please, I think this is what we're talking about. So the situation is that there is currently no kind of a certification for a video-based detection, fire detection cameras with the EN or UL. So we don't have these kind of certifications. However, we do have BDS certification. This is an external independent German body that gives this certification, and this is fully approved and recognized by the European Union, and it is a very well-known external independent body, as I said, BDS. Yeah, I don't see any more questions. And it's already time for us to close this session. So from my side, I will say thank you all very much for your attention. It was a pleasure sharing my knowledge and my passion. I hope that it was able to show I'm really passionate about this product. We really believe in this product, and we hope that you really see the advantages of this solution. If you need any information, please contact me or any of my colleagues, and we will be happy to help you. Thank you and have a nice day. Goodbye.